Smaller?
Right.
There you go.
All
Okay,
right.
so now you're recording.
All right.
This is your plug. This guy has 3 things. This stripe piece goes to the bottom. You can see that little mark right here? That's the bottom. So plug it in just like that. I'm not trying to dumb you down with this.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
You do everything.
So then you're going to, this thing has tabs all over it. There's several tabs, okay? So you're going to lift this tab up, and that is going to open up this top part. You have to lift it up very carefully, but it will lift this part, okay? Then you lift this, and you kind of use your finger on this other side to pull this down.
Okay.
Lift this
like
one.
Like the lotus flower.
Right.
Okay.
Lift this one, and this one drops. And then back here, there's one more. And you'll just, same as the front.
All right.
So then you have this full-on open space, okay? Right here is your on switch. So this is where your thread goes. There's 2 things here, okay? This is where your thread goes. This is probably for threading your bobbin. We'll get to that later. But this is your thread, so you just use your fingers and you manually pull it up.
Oh.
It's not hard.
Okay.
Some machines you push it down and it pops up, but this one you just pull up. Right here, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little, this little eye thing.
Looks like a, yeah.
That thing comes up, your thread's gonna, when we go to thread, is gonna go through there. Using the wheel on the right, this little piece right here, you want it to come to the up position.
All right.
It doesn't have to be all the way up, it just needs to be sticking out so that you can access it for threading, okay? This little guy right here is gonna become part of our threading part. This is your tension knob. This adjusts the tension of your thread. We'll get to that in a little bit. Down here on the bottom, there's this little silver piece. See this? That is your.
It's a foot or something.
No, this is just where your threading guide. So this machine is capable of having 2 needles, one on the left, one on the right, or one in the middle. This machine right now is currently sustained with 1 needle. So you can choose to go on the right or the left with your threading guide. I always just by default go on my left.
I'll just do what you do.
It's a preference thing.
All right.
So this is your bobbin thread. It's in the back. And if you ever need to access it, you can just slide this thing back. And if you look down in here, there's a little bobbin in there.
I see
okay?
it.
Slide it back, stays closed. So to thread the machine, you take your thread and you, if it's like this, and you can see that it's coming off counterclockwise.
Okay.
And you stick your thread on this thing counterclockwise with the thread coming off from the rear, behind the bobbin, or behind the spool. Then you take this thread and you're going to drop it into this hole like this. Okay, now you can thread it through. I cheat and I do it just like you just saw.
Right.
I kind of just...
Makes sense to me.
I mean, you can eyeball it and put it through it. At the end of the day, what happens is it goes from the front to the rear through this hole.
Okay.
You follow? Then you're going to come down to this tension knob and you're going to go around it. It naturally will fall into its own place. Don't worry about that part. You don't have to look through between the knob or anything. It'll go where it's supposed to go. Then, you remember this little guy that I was telling you about? You're going to take your thread, you're going to slide it to the back, and if you look in here, come over this way.
Oh.
You look in here, you're going to see, you got it?
Yeah.
You can see this where it comes up. I'm going to raise it up a little bit. You can see it a little bit better. Right here where it ends. You see that little hook up?
Yeah.
You want to get behind that, okay? And then you want to bring it forward, because that puts it through here.
All right.
I guess this machine you could actually just, like I said, thread it through there, but I have always just gone around that hooky thing. Then you want to come down, go through this guy. This is literally just a thread guide. It's not going to serve a purpose where this moves, this serves a purpose, etc. Then what I do at this point is I go ahead and I thread my needle. I do it before I put it through this thread guide because it's easier. I have more, it's less tension. So you can use a needle threader. I believe you have one. I think I saw one. Yeah, this guy. You can use that if you want to.
I don't even know how to.
I always just eyeball it. And if your thread...
Sorry,
no, you're okay. If your thread is frayed, take a pair of scissors and clip it so you get a nice clean piece, okay? You always thread the needle from the front to the back. Okay, always.
Okay.
You lift the foot. If you look at the foot on this, it looks like a backward or an upside down L. You want this thread, after you've threaded it, to go underneath the foot, and you want to slide it. Oh, hold on. Oh, I grabbed the wrong thread. See me? Right there. You want to take this and you want to slide it into that slot so that it fits into that. Do you see that little groove?
Yeah.
So using this little line right here, this opening, you'll slide the thread into that, okay?
All right.
Now that we've got the needle threaded, you're going to thread this guide. Remember that guide that's right here?
Yeah.
So you're going to take your thread, and I just take it and I stick it back here behind it, and it'll grab it, and you just pull it over. And did you hear that click? That means it's in, okay? And then it will freely move. Once it's all in correctly, you should be able to take your thread and pull it, and see how easy it pulls?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to waste all your thread before I teach you all this. So you want to keep, anytime you start to sew, it's a good idea to keep 2 to 3 inches at least of tail. All right, if you
Okay.
don't have that, what'll happen, if you have too little of tail on the top, this will come unthreaded. If you have too much, or if you have too little of thread on the bottom, it'll get tangled up in the bottom and become a knot. And that's probably what happened in our initial threading.
Oh, okay.
Because if you look at this tail that's over here, it's a knot.
Yeah.
Somewhere over here. Anyways, so that's how you prevent that. So then you just pull these to the back.